Good morning, students. This is 12th standard botany video class, video 4. In this video, we are going to continue the lesson ecosystem. Dear students, in the previous video class, we have seen ecological pyramid or Hiltonian pyramids. It is divided into three types: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, pyramid of energy. So, pyramid of number means a graphical representation of number of organisms at each successive tropical level in an ecosystem is known as pyramid of number. It is divided into three shapes, that is inverted, upright, and also spindle shape. So upright means gradual decrease in number of organisms at each successive tropical level is known as upright. Spindle means they are showing ups and downs. That means producer is very less when compared to the herbivore. Likewise, tertiary consumer is lesser than that of secondary consumer. So this type of variation occur in each successive tropical level is known as spindle shape. Example, forest ecosystem. Then another one, parasite ecosystem, which are showing the gradual increase in an organism at each successive tropical level, that is known as inverted. So those are all the three shapes of pyramid of number, and pyramid of biomass is also showing the different shape. Grassland and forest ecosystem, which is always upright. That means they are showing gradual decrease in biomass possessing of an organism. Another one, pond ecosystem, which are showing the gradual increase in the biomass of an organism is known as inverted. Another one, pyramid of energy, from the producer to the tertiary consumer, there is a gradual decrease in energy flow at each successive tropical level. So the shape of the pyramid of energy is always upright. So those are all the different types of pyramids we have seen in the previous video class. Now we are going to see the another topic, that is biogeochemical cycle and types of ecosystem. Dear students, in an ecosystem, each and every organism which are exchanging their mineral nutrients between the organism and their environment is the important aspects taken place in an ecosystem. That is known as biogeochemical cycle or nutrient cycle. All organisms require certain minerals for their growth and development and maintenance and reproduction. So the circulation of minerals taken place within the ecosystem or biosphere is known as biogeochemical cycle and also called cycling of materials. So the minerals which are taken place in an ecosystem is known as biogeochemical cycle or cycling of minerals. So this biogeochemical cycle is two basic type. One is in the form of gaseous state, that is gaseous cycle. Another one, sedimentary cycle. That means these minerals are present on the sediment of the earth. First one, gaseous cycle. So this nutrients are present in the air, the form of gaseous state. Example, oxygen for respiratory process, carbon dioxide for photosynthetic process, and nitrogen for the growth and development of a plant body. So these three minerals are present in the atmosphere in the form of gaseous state, that is known as gaseous cycle. Another one, sedimentary cycle. These minerals are present on the sediment of the earth. Example, phosphorus, sulfur and calcium. So these three minerals also circulated between the organism in an ecosystem is known as sedimentary cycle. So both gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycles are known as biogeochemical cycle. Dear students, in the lower class itself you have studied different types of cycle: water cycle, carbon cycle, phosphorus cycle, like that, nitrogen cycle. So different cycles you have studied in the lower classes. So in this lesson we are going to see two cycles. One is the carbon cycle, another one is the phosphorus cycle. First one, carbon cycle. The circulation of carbon between organism and environment is known as carbon cycle. Dear students, in the previous paragraph we have seen carbon is the example of gaseous cycle because it is located in the atmosphere in the form of gaseous state. So, the circulation of carbon between the organism and environment is known as carbon cycle. Carbon is one of the important biomolecule and also it's sustainably impacted by the change in global climate. So it's important biomolecule for an living organism, and also this carbon which are showing certain changes of entire global climate. So cycling of carbon between the organism and their particular environment is in the form of reciprocal reaction between the photosynthesis and respiration. So dear students, why it's said to be reciprocal reaction? At the time of photosynthesis, plants they are taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and liberate out oxygen. At the same time, at the time of respiratory process, plants and animals they are taking oxygen and they are liberate out carbon dioxide. So both the reactions are interdependable. That's why they given it is a reciprocal process of photosynthesis and respiration. Then how the carbon dioxide is entered into the atmosphere means it will be entered into the atmosphere and also the amount is increased in the atmosphere by the burning of fossil fuel. Cutting of trees from the forest is known as deforestation. Fire taken place in the forest and also volcanic eruption, decomposition of dead and organic matter. These are all the different factors which are increase the carbon dioxide amount in the atmosphere. Dear students, this carbon cycle along with the diagram is the important 5-mark question. Kindly put important mark in your textbook. See the diagrammatic representation of carbon cycle. They given the different region of the earth: land region, pond region, and also earth level below the ground level is shown in the diagram. So first of all, trees, land region, they are absorbing the atmospheric carbon dioxide at the time of photosynthesis. Then they liberate the oxygen. So these oxygens are absorbed by plants and animals and they liberate the carbon dioxide. So at one level, that is by the process of respiration, the carbon dioxide is increased in the atmosphere. The another one, burning of fossil fuels below the ground level, peat, coal, oil and gases, due to combustion means burning. They are liberate carbon dioxide to the atmosphere level. Another one, the volcanic eruption is also increase the carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere. Then, see the pond ecosystem, they consist of both plants and animal. They are also doing the respiratory process so that they are release the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. At the bottom of the pond is also, they are made up of with dead and organic matter deposition. So these organic matters are once again dissolved in the water due to the sunlight. They will be evaporated in the form of carbon dioxide. Then not only that, the plant parts and the animal bodies are that means waste product of plants and animal bodies are, that is dead condition. They are buried under the soil. So they are also releasing the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Not only that, see the factories. They are also releasing the carbon compound to the atmosphere. So these are all the different factors which are releasing carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Only the one way is plants doing the photosynthesis, which are absorbing the carbon dioxide and liberate out oxygen. So others and all, we are taking oxygen liberated by plants and we are releasing the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So both photosynthesis and respiratory process are reciprocal process. So this cycle is known as carbon cycle. Dear students, in the gaseous cycle, we have seen the example is carbon cycle. Next one, sedimentary cycle. Example, phosphorus cycle. So phosphorus cycle is the example of sedimentary cycle. The phosphorus which are found in different biomolecules such as deoxyribonucleic acid, ribonucleic acid, adenosine triphosphate, then nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and phospholipid molecules of living organism. So these are all the different biomolecule which is present in the living organism. They require phosphorus mineral for the growth and development. So this phosphorus is not sufficient, abundant in the biosphere, but the bulk quantity or a large quantity of phosphorus which is present in the rocky deposits, marine sediment, that means at the bottom of the sea water, and guano. So these three regions which are releasing the phosphorus by the process is known as weathering. So this is said to be phosphorus cycle. So phosphorus which is present in the deposit of rocks, marine sediments and guano. These phosphorus are collected by the process is known as weathering process. Is important. One more question. This phosphorus from the rocky region, it circulates in the lithosphere as well as the hydrosphere. So lithosphere means phosphorus is located on the rocky region is known as lithosphere. Hydrosphere means the phosphorus which is sedimented at the bottom of the pond is known as hydrosphere. So from this rocky region as well as the bottom of the pond region, the plants which are absorbing the phosphorus in the form of phosphate ions. Then these phosphate ions are transferred to the each tropical level of a food chain through the food. That is one method of phosphorus is utilized by the living organism. Another one, the organism is completed the life cycle and died. The death of the organism and degradation by the action of decomposers, that means bacteria and fungi, which is present in the soil. The phosphorus is once again released back into the lithosphere, rocky region and hydrosphere to maintain the phosphorus cycle. So first of all, they are getting phosphorus in the form of phosphate ion from the lithosphere and hydrosphere. Once the living organism is died, they are buried under the soil. So these complex substances are acted upon by the decomposers such as bacteria and fungi. Split the complex body into simpler one, and also they releases the phosphorus in the lithosphere and hydrosphere. Likewise, they are maintaining the phosphorus cycle in the environment. Dear students, see the diagrammatic representation of phosphorus cycle. So the phosphorus is located on the sedimented rocky region, which is given the left side, that is deposit on the rock, marine sediments and guano. So from that region, they are circulated into the lithosphere and hydrosphere. So that from this lithosphere and hydrosphere, the living organisms are utilized the phosphorus in the form of phosphate ion. Then after that, the dead organism, which is buried under the soil, is acted upon by bacteria. See the diagram, the pond is given here, death accretion. So they once again release the phosphorus at the bottom of the pond water and the rocky region is once again utilized by the living organism to maintain the phosphorus cycle in an environment or an ecosystem is known as phosphorus cycle. So dear students, both phosphorus cycle and carbon cycle is very important. 5 mark question. Make a note on your textbook. Dear students, up to this we have seen 2 types of biogeochemical cycle. First one, carbon cycle, example of gaseous cycle. Another one, phosphorus cycle, is the example of sedimentary cycle. Next we are going to see types of ecosystem. Dear students, the biosphere, which consists of different ecosystem. One is natural, another one is the artificial. Natural means which is present in the natural environment without human interference. Second one, artificial. This ecosystem is maintained by man. Example, rice field and maize field. So this natural ecosystem is again divided into two types: terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem example forest, grassland and desert. Aquatic ecosystem example open water, that is pond ecosystem, lake ecosystem likewise. Then aquatic ecosystem is again divided into freshwater and marine water ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem is known as lotic. Marine ecosystem is known as lentic. So lotic means running water bodies, lentic means standing water bodies. So what are all the running water bodies? River, spring and stream. Then the standing water example pond and lake. So these are all the different types of ecosystem. Draw a diagrammatic representation of ecosystem or classification of ecosystem is the important 3-mark question. So now we are going to see the different ecosystem, that is pond ecosystem. Dear students, this is pond ecosystem which consists of different tropical level. First one is the producer T1, then consumer it's said to be T2, T3, T4 level. Then last one is the decomposes. So this is the different successive tropical level which is seen in the pond ecosystem. The pond consists of two things. One is the biotic things, another is the abiotic things. Biotic things are known as all the living organisms such as plants and animals. There is microorganism, bacteria and fungi. The abiotic components are water, sunlight, soil, mud, everything it's known as abiotic components. So see the diagram. It is an ecosystem or an environment which is present in the pond water. It consists of two components, biotic components, abiotic components. And also they are showing the different tropical level, how the energy is transmitted from one level to another level, and also how the food is transmitted from one level to another level. So that is the successive tropical level in a pond ecosystem. So pond ecosystem is the classical example of natural, aquatic, freshwater, lentic type of ecosystem. It's not a man-made, okay? So first one is the natural ecosystem and also water ecosystem. What is that one? Aquatic. Then freshwater, that means drinking purpose ecosystem. Lentic type, that means standing water type of ecosystem. See, the single ecosystem which consists of how many types? Classical, example for natural, aquatic, freshwater and lentic type of ecosystem. So this pond system helps to understand the structure and function of an ecosystem in the natural environment. How the pond is produced. When the rain flows, all the rainwaters are gathered in a large, shallow area over a period of time with different types of organism. I told you microbes, there is bacteria and fungi, plants and animals are the biotic components which take part in a pond ecosystem. So this pond ecosystem is self-sustaining and self-regulatory freshwater ecosystem which shows the different interaction between biotic and abiotic components which is present in the pond water. Dear students, first we are going to see the abiotic component which is present in the pond ecosystem. It consists of different inorganic as well as the organic substances. Inorganic substances are carbon dioxide, oxygen, calcium, nitrogen and phosphate. We already seen phosphorus is present at the sediment of the water, isn't it? So there is a phosphorus. Nitrogen in the atmosphere utilized by the plants. Calcium which is present at the bottom of the pond water. Oxygen in the atmosphere utilized by the living organism. Carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plants, that means water plants from the atmosphere. These are all the inorganic substances. Another one, organic substance, which is known as amino acid and humic acid, which are formed from the dead organic matter of the living thing. And also, some abiotic factors also regulated in the ecosystem is known as amount of light, temperature, pH value of the water, and other climatic conditions are known as abiotic component. So dear students, if you are going to write the abiotic components of pond ecosystem means it is divided into two: organic, inorganic. Inorganic, carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium and phosphorus. Organic compound means amino acid and humic acid. Finished? Then the other abiotic components which is present in the pond ecosystem are light, temperature, pH value of water and other climatic condition. So that only enough to write it in this paragraph. Next one, biotic components. So the biotic components consist of producers. What is the term producers? In ecological pyramid, they are occupied at the base, T1 level. Tropical 1 level are known as producers. So most probably they are known as green plants, which are containing the chlorophyll pigments. Okay, so it may be phytoplankton is also green plants only. That means phytoplankton means plants which is microscopic, freely floating on the surface of the water, containing the chlorophyll pigments is known as phytoplanktons. In Tamil it is known as Midavai Tavarangal. Okay, so here the biotic components consist of different organism. One is the producer, then consumer. Another one is the decomposers, that is microorganism such as bacteria and fungi. So these three are the living components. So producer, plants, living components. Consumers, animals, living components. Then decomposers, bacteria and fungi, microorganism. They are also living thing. So these three constitute the biotic components in an ecosystem, pond ecosystem. Dear students, first we are going to see the producers. I told you phytoplankton, Midavai Tavarangal like Oscillatoria, Anabina, Eudorina, Volvax and diatoms. These are all the phytoplanktons. Other filamentous alga is also there, green color. Elothrix, Spirogyra, Cladobora and Eudogonium. Some freely floating plants is also there in the pond ecosystem. Azolla, Salvia, Pistia, Wolffia and Eichhornia. Submerged floating plant is also there. Potamogeton and Phragmites. Some plus rooted floating plants, Nymphaea and Nilampo. Some macrophytes, that means large water plants, example Typha and Hypomia, constitute the major producer of pond ecosystem. So dear students, so plants simply we are saying as the producer. In the pond ecosystem, it is divided into different types: phytoplankton, filamentous alga, free floating plants submerged plants, rooted floating plants, and also macrophytes. Each and every one, they are given the example. So all together, they are known as producers in an ecosystem. Next, we are going to see the consumers in a pond ecosystem. That means animals. Example, zooplankton. That means some animals also freely floating on the surface of the water and also microscopic. They are known as zooplanktons. Like Paramecium and Daphnia. They are known as primary consumers. That means they are eating, what is that one? Plant parts. So these animals are known as primary consumers or herbivore. Another one, benthos. So these organisms are present at the bottom of the pond. So they are known as bottom living animals like molluscus and annelids. They are also known as primary consumers. They are plant eating animals. Zooplankton, Paramecium and Daphnia. Benthos means molluscus and annelids. That means they are living at the bottom of the pond water. Then the secondary consumer like water beetle and frog. And a tertiary consumer like duck, crane and some top carnivores which include large fish, hawk and man. So these are all the consumers which is present in the pond ecosystem. Dear students, before going to see the decomposers, that means third biotic components, we are going to see the do you know paragraph. Sea grasses and mangroves of Estuarine coastal ecosystem are most efficient carbon sequestration. So carbon sequestration means the plants which are absorbing carbon dioxide and store it in the pots, plant pots is known as carbon sequestration. So the example is Estuarine coastal ecosystem. Some plants such as sea grasses and mangroves, they are absorbing large amount of carbon dioxide. So this Estuarine ecosystem is known as blue carbon ecosystem. So they are not properly utilized and maintained all over the world. Although they have rich bioresources potential. So dear students, these seagrasses and mangroves of Estuarine coastal ecosystem, they are absorbing large amount of carbon dioxide and store it in the region. So this ecosystem is known as blue carbon ecosystem is the important 2 mark and 1 mark question. So the next biotic component is decomposers. So what are all decomposers? Bacteria and fungi are known as decomposers which is present at the bottom of the pond water, that is mud of the pond water. So these decomposers are called as micro consumers because they are very minute. We can able to see under the microscope, but they are eating the flesh of dead and decayed matter of plants and animal parts. So they are known as micro consumer. And also these decomposers helps to recycle the minerals in an ecosystem. They are present in the mud water and bottom of the pond. Example, bacteria and fungi. So these decomposers perform the process of decomposition to enrich the nutrient in the pond ecosystem. That is said to be decomposers. So the cycling of the nutrient or food material between the biotic and abiotic components is evident in the pond ecosystem, making itself self-sufficient. That means they are taking the food material with the self, that is said to be self-sufficient, and also they are regulating the minerals or a food material in a pond ecosystem is known as self-regulating. So pond ecosystem is the classical example for natural, aquatic, freshwater, lentic type of ecosystem. Dear students, I hope we all understood what is pond ecosystem. A pond ecosystem is the important 5-mark question. Kindly note down in your textbook. Up to this, I conclude my video. Remaining, we will see in the next video class. God bless you. All the best, children.